for this etheric body to completely dissolve. It can take days beyond clinical death for a human being to completely shed the etheric body. It can take days for the etheric body to completely dissolve beyond the point of clinical death. Now, in Adi Dam, when somebody dies, we do what we call a 3-day vigil. And the purpose of the 3-day vigil is to allow for and serve the complete dissolution of the etheric body. The purpose of the 3-day vigil is to allow for and serve the complete dissolution and migration of the dying person beyond the physical body and its environment. Now, after clinical death, the etheric body can become extremely mobile. The physical body is like an anchor. The physical body being shed, the etheric body becomes mobile. And the etheric body can begin to gravitate back to the things, the people, the places, and the things to which we have been attached. One contemporary Christian group that does a 3-day vigil talks about how beyond the point of clinical death, the dying person does a life review. Well, over the course of this life review, the etheric body can become nostalgic for the now dying and passing world. The purpose of the 3-day vigil is to serve and instruct the dying person at this stage of the process. Now, my mother gave me a lesson in etheric mobility when we served her in her death process. My mother died in a hospital in New York, and on her deathbed she kept saying, "I want to go home. I want to go back to my house." My mother's home for the last stages of her life was pretty much her world. Now, I had been serving my mother at her bedside. I had work to do in Washington, D.C., so I drove down to Washington, D.C., did my work, and I returned back to her house moments after she died in the hospital. And I was told that she had just died. And people left the house in order to bring clothes to the funeral home. And I was left alone in her home with my friend who was there with me. And I was sitting in the chair that she spent years sitting in her house. And suddenly we felt the living room of that house fill up with my mother's etheric body. It made my hair stand on end. It was my mother, but without a physical body. I mean, I could smell the spaghetti sauce cooking in the background. This was Mom. And my friend could feel her there too. And so we did what we do. We instructed her. Let go. Let go. We'll be all right. Your house will be okay. Let go. Give yourself up to the death process. And over time, we could feel the dissolution and migration. And after a time, we could no longer feel her there in the house.
Angelo?
Yeah.
We have a question. Jack wants to know, what does etheric mean?
These are subtler energies. Subtler energies that comprise a human incarnation. And there are aspects of these subtler energies that take on the shape of the physical body. And this is what's called the etheric body. It is the emotional body. It is the energy body. It is the psychic body.